We're going to get into some keys for the game coming up here on Locked On LSU and Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
So, Matt, I didn't get a chance to ask you about this just yet, but what do you expect the crowd to be like in Baton Rouge in Tiger Stadium? Because I had somebody comment on one of our shows that because it's Thanksgiving weekend, you may not have the student section that you're expecting. It may not be the crowd that people are expecting to see inside Tiger Stadium.
So this is always my answer on Tiger Stadium because it has a reputation, right? Tiger Stadium is, in my opinion, the best big game venue in the sport we all love. And that puts it among the best in the world.
Yeah.
However, Tiger Stadium has issues that I think every single school is dealing with. LSU got caught up in an arms race when everyone was building their stadiums. It's 102,000 now, and you'll never put 102,000 people in the stadium to watch LSU play Nichols. Things like that home viewing experience and parking and concessions and everything drive people away at LSU like it does everywhere else. But when you get these ingredients, man, like ranked opponent coming in, a lot on the line, Saturday night, and it's that perfect concoction, brother, it is alive, and it is just unlike anything that you can imagine feeling. But it's not like that every week. It's almost impossible to be like that every week.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be interesting. So I love the idea of LSU and Oklahoma becoming a thing on Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, bring it.
But OU has Texas. Like, you've got your rival. And Oklahoma State, I know you don't play Oklahoma State anymore, but like LSU doesn't have that. There is no natural rival. And everyone that LSU plays that they've developed something like that with has their own natural rival. Like, that was starting to develop with Texas A&M. Well, Texas A&M's got Texas, and that'll always mean more to them. The league tried to force Arkansas on LSU back in '92 and make that a thing on Friday at 1:30 for a stupid trophy, and everybody here resented it. They hated that game forever. So I think LSU and OU, if this is a thing we start to see on Thanksgiving weekend, with these two programs and their history, if they're playing meaningful games in a 12 or maybe 14, 16 team playoff era, if they're playing meaningful games, dude, like to go to Atlanta, to secure a playoff berth, to secure a bye sort of thing, I think this is going to be a full-on thing. But it's got to manifest on the field.
Yeah.
It's got to mean something on the field. And this with a 500 OU team and an 7-win LSU team, like it's not going to be. Maybe they'll surprise me, man. Maybe it'll be 100,000 strong. It'll be bat bleep crazy. I just don't think it's going to be full throat Tiger Stadium. Now you end up in an intense game, and LSU gives them a reason to get going, man. That bourbon gets flowing, dog. It could be something, but I don't know if Saturday is going to be like the most electric thing you've ever seen. But I hope in the future we do get to see some of those with LSU and OU, because it means they're playing for something meaningful on Thanksgiving weekend.
It's funny you opened this the way that you did, because I actually wrote something very similar over at Sooners Wire today. I said the Oklahoma Sooners are walking into one of the most challenging environments in sports on Saturday night, not just college football, or North American sports. Few atmospheres around the world match the aura and energy of Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana after dark. And so I'm not underestimating anything. I don't care what the records are. I don't care what the weekend is. I'm having this high expectation that Oklahoma's walking into one of the most hostile environments that they've ever walked into, because I think it could very well be that. You never know, because it's the first time that Oklahoma's ever played Louisiana or LSU inside Tiger Stadium. And we've seen this year how some of these firsts for Oklahoma have created a whole different kind of energy just by being the first year in the SEC. And I think that the two could create a nice little rivalry, given the history, the championship, games that they've played in the playoff games they've played against one another. So
how do OU fans feel about this whole potentially playing every Thanksgiving, all that sort of, no bedlam anymore? Like, what's the vibe there?
I don't know if it's really been discussed much because we don't really know what the future schedule looks like beyond that. And there's been no real indication as to who's going to be permanent rivals. But as far as teams that I think everybody would be excited about playing every year, LSU's one of those. I know, Missouri's got the regional thing. Arkansas's got a little bit of the regional thing too, but you say you're going to play LSU every single year. And I think that's going to get everybody's ears, perked up a little bit more for that kind of a game.
Brother, you'll learn this about the league. The SEC, when it comes to scheduling, will go through hell and high water to protect Bama, Tennessee, and Alabama and Auburn, Georgia. Like, it's like those two games matter more than anything, and it annoys everyone here because LSU has always drawn the short stick in scheduling, and quite honestly, just the whole stupid format with the one permanent opponent that was like there were guys like you would go a decade without playing a team in the league just because the format was set to protect those two games. So what I'm telling you is when you look and you see the games that they're going to protect at all costs, and then the existing rivalries, the Egg Bowl, the Iron Bowl, Kentucky playing Louisville, Georgia playing Georgia Tech, like, brother, OU and LSU are stuck with each other on Thanksgiving weekend. Like, that ain't going nowhere. I will tell you,
fine with it.
Like,
that'd be great.
That there's no other option. Like, unless if they stick LSU with Arkansas again and OU plays Missouri, which I don't think they're going to do. Like, I think this is the game the league is going to try to have as one of their centerpieces on Thanksgiving weekend because those two brands are always going to be appealing television. And so I'll put it to you this way, John. If it goes any other way than LSU and OU playing on Thanksgiving weekend in perpetuity, I will be floored. I just don't know what it could be. Like, I don't know what the scenario could be.
Well, and I think both fan bases actually would welcome that because it's a program you have a lot of respect for in LSU, and I can't speak for LSU fans, but I imagine they've got at least some respect for OU as a program, much more than what we would have for Missouri or for Arkansas, and so it's a game that would definitely, quote unquote, mean more every single year, even if we're not where we want to be this year. It's still a game that gets everybody up. I mean, we got OU fans in droves traveling down to Baton Rouge to go be a part of that atmosphere. I mean, I love it, man. On social media, in the comment sections on YouTube, like everybody's geeked up for this game. They're really, really excited about it. So
one thing that could like stir the locals here, bro. You see an awful lot of that crimson and cream rolling around town. People might start go, "Oh, bro, come on, let's go." Like that may get the juices flowing a little bit. By the way, I mean, I didn't even plan this today. I'm basically wearing an OU shirt on the show today.
It's all right. Well, maybe your people will forgive you. We'll see. Also,
hey, what do you think, man? What do you think for Saturday? So, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say LSU's got, to me, the best yellow in college football. So I'm excited to see what their uniform combination is going to be like.
Oh, bro, don't get me started on that. I'm a traditionalist. The white gold, the white jersey at home is LSU's look. It's classic. It's iconic. They've worn 6 different uniform combinations this year, and it makes me want to vomit. So I'm the wrong guy to ask about uniforms.
That'd be super fun, though, if they did gold, white, gold, because that means Oklahoma would get to wear crimson on the road, which is not something they get to do.
That's what they're going to do.
Texas. So that'd be fun.
Yeah, no, they're going to wear I would be stunned if LSU didn't wear their traditional uniform in this game. But boy, it's a whole nother conversation, man. That's a Nike thing. But anyway, LSU will be wearing white jerseys at home. So OU will be in their crimson jerseys.
Right on. That'll be fun. Before we get out of here, real quick, give me a key to the game for LSU.
They've got to stop Jackson Arnold from running the football. When LSU has had a bugaboo, it's been their inability to stop a running quarterback. It was Marcel Reed against Texas A&M. Obviously, it was Jalen Milroe. Lenora Sellers killed them at South Carolina, but then LSU knocked him out of the game. LSU put up 38 in that game against South Carolina. So the Tigers can move the ball and they can score. But it's got to start. It's got to start defensively. Like, you cannot let Jackson Arnold run for 130 like he did against Bama. If LSU can make Jackson Arnold have to throw the football, especially like we talked about with the injuries to the receiving core and some of the injuries on the offensive line, LSU, while the stat sheet isn't going to look good, John, the one thing defensively they do exceptionally well is create havoc. Sacks, TFLs, negative plays, interceptions. Like, they'll give up yards, but they'll find a way to come up with that big play. You just cannot let OU run the ball 50 times for 250. Like, if that happens, that's LSU's surest fire way of losing the game.
Yeah, and for Oklahoma, it just comes down to Jackson Arnold protecting the football. When they've had some bad moments and bad losses, it's because of turnovers. If he can contain and protect the ball, especially if they're going to run them, 25 times like they did against Alabama, if he holds onto the ball, then I like Oklahoma's chances to at least keep it close and maybe have a chance to win at the end of the game. But that's going to do it for this crossover edition of Locked On LSU, Locked On Sooners with Matt Muscana. I'm John Williams. Make sure you subscribe to both of our shows, Locked On LSU or Locked On Sooners, wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available also on YouTube. So hit the subscribe button and the notification bell over there as well. Follow Matt over on Twitter for more LSU and SEC takes at Matt Muscana. You can follow me at John9 Williams. But we'll talk to you more after this game and later in the week as we continue to break down OU LSU. For Matt Muscana, I'm John Williams.